What if the secret to living past 100 wasn't a special diet, an expensive supplement, or even a rigorous exercise routine, but simply knowing why you wake up every morning? In a small village on the island of Okinawa, Japan, there's a place called Ogimi. It holds the highest concentration of centenarians on the planet. People there don't retire, they don't stop moving, they don't lose their sense of humor, and they don't seem particularly interested in dying. What do they know that the rest of us don't? Authors Hector Garca and Francis Miralles traveled to Ogimi to find out. What they discovered became a global bestseller, a book called Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. Today, we are breaking it all down. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might just find your reason to get up tomorrow morning. Section 1. What is Ikigai? Let's start with the word itself, Ikigai. It's pronounced Ikigai, and it's a Japanese concept that loosely translates to reason for being or reason to get up in the morning. But Ikigai is more than a philosophy. It's a felt sense, a quiet internal clarity about what makes your life worth living. And the beautiful thing is, according to the Japanese, everyone has one. You don't need to be a billionaire or a genius to have an Ikigai. A retired fisherman mending his nets at dawn has one. A grandmother teaching her granddaughter to cook has one. You've probably seen the popular Western diagram floating around. The 4 overlapping circles: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. Where all 4 intersect, supposedly, is your Ikigai. But here's something the authors make clear. That diagram is actually a Western adaptation. In Japan, Ikigai doesn't have to be your career. It doesn't have to make you money. It can be as simple as tending your garden, playing chess with friends, or making the perfect cup of tea. Ikigai is less about your grand purpose and more about the small daily joys that make you feel alive. And that reframing alone can be life-changing. Section 2. The Village of Centenarians. Now let's talk about Ogimi, the village that inspired this book. Ogimi sits on the northern tip of Okinawa, a chain of islands in southern Japan. The people there live extraordinarily long lives. Not just long, good lives. They remain active, socially connected, and mentally sharp well into their 90s and even past 100. When Garca and Miralles arrived, they expected to find some extraordinary secret, a miracle food, a strict regimen. Instead, they found something surprisingly ordinary. They found people laughing with neighbors, growing vegetables, playing music, staying busy not because they had to, but because they wanted to, because it gave them joy. One of the most striking things the authors observe: there is no word for retirement in Ogimi. People simply don't stop. They slow down, yes. They adapt, but they never disengage from life. And the research backs this up. Studies on centenarians consistently show that a sense of purpose is one of the strongest predictors of longevity, more powerful than many physical health markers. When people lose their Ikigai, often at retirement or after the death of a loved one, their health tends to decline rapidly. Ikigai, in other words, isn't just philosophy. It may literally be keeping people alive. Section 3. The 10 Rules of Ikigai. Based on their research and interviews, the authors distilled 10 guiding principles that the people of Ogimi seem to live by, consciously or not. Let me walk you through them. 1. Stay active. Never retire. Keep doing things of value. Movement and purpose go hand in hand. 2. Take it slow. Okinawans have a saying, hara hachi bu. Eat until you are 80% full. The same principle applies to life. Don't rush. Savor. 3. Don't eat until you are full. Yes, this gets its own rule. Caloric restriction is one of the few scientifically validated methods of extending life. The Okinawan diet, rich in vegetables, tofu, and sweet potato, is naturally low in calories and high in nutrients. 4. Surround yourself with good friends. This one is huge. Loneliness is now considered as dangerous to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The people of Ogimi have moai, tight-knit social groups that support each other emotionally and financially throughout their entire lives. 5. Get in shape for your next birthday. Stay physically active, but don't overdo it. Gentle movement, walking, gardening, stretching, done consistently is better than intense exercise done occasionally. 6. Smile. This sounds almost too simple, but a positive attitude, gratitude, and the habit of smiling genuinely affects your biology and the energy of the people around you. 7. Reconnect with nature. Spend time outdoors. The people of Ogimi walk, garden, and live close to the land. Nature restores. 8. Give thanks. Gratitude is central to Okinawan life. They express appreciation for their food, their relationships, and the fact that they woke up that morning. 9. Live in the moment. This is a deeply Buddhist idea. Mindfulness, being present in what you are doing right now, reduces anxiety and increases satisfaction. 10. Follow your ikigai. Find what makes you feel alive and pursue it. Not for fame, not for money, just because it's yours. Section 4. Flow. The secret to deep engagement. One of the most fascinating chapters in the book deals with a concept developed by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the state of flow. Flow is that feeling when you're so deeply absorbed in what you're doing that time disappears. Athletes call it being in the zone. Artists experience it when a painting comes together. You might have felt it cooking a great meal, writing a piece of code, or playing an instrument. The authors argue that flow is one of the closest feelings we have to happiness. Not pleasure, happiness. Pleasure is passive. Happiness is earned through engagement. And here's the key insight. Flow is most likely to happen when you're doing something that sits at the edge of your ability. Too easy? You get bored. Too hard? You get anxious. But in that sweet spot, challenged but capable, you enter flow. This connects directly to Ikigai. When you're doing what you love, what you're good at, and what you find meaningful, you naturally drift toward flow more often. And that deep engagement with life, day after day, is part of what the Okinawans have quietly been doing for centuries. The takeaway? Don't chase happiness directly. Find the activities that pull you into flow and let the happiness follow. Section 5. Resilience and Wabi-Sabi. The book also explores two powerful Japanese concepts that help people navigate hardship. The first is resilience, or more specifically, the Japanese art of anti-fragility. The authors reference the idea of Wabi-Sabi, finding beauty in imperfection and impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. The cracked teacup is still beautiful. The fading cherry blossom is still worth seeing. Okinawans don't expect life to be perfect. They don't catastrophize setbacks. They acknowledge pain, accept it, and keep moving. There's a spirit in Okinawa captured by the phrase Nankurunaisa. Roughly, it'll all work out. Not naive optimism, but a deep trust in one's ability to adapt. The second concept is Morita therapy, a Japanese psychological approach that encourages acceptance of your emotions without letting them control your actions. Feel the fear, feel the grief, and then do what needs to be done anyway. Together, these ideas paint a picture of people who don't resist life, they flow with it. And that ease, that acceptance, seems to contribute powerfully to both well-being and longevity. Section 6. finding your own ikigai. So how do you actually find your ikigai? The authors don't give you a formula, and that's intentional. Ikigai is something you discover through living, not through a questionnaire. But they do offer some practical starting points. Start by asking yourself 4 questions. What do I love doing so much that I lose track of time? What am I genuinely good at? What does the world around me need from a neighbor, a community, a profession? What could I be paid for, or at least sustained by? Don't pressure yourself to find the perfect answer where all 4 overlap. Start smaller. Focus on question 1. What makes you feel alive? Then, the authors suggest simply do more of that. Structure your day around small moments of ikigai. You don't need to quit your job or move to Okinawa. You just need to carve out more space for the things that make life feel worth living. Over time, that awareness tends to expand. People find that when they honor their ikigai consistently, the other areas of their life begin to align around it. Here's what strikes me most about this book. We live in a world that's obsessed with hacks, biohacking, life hacking, productivity hacking. We are always looking for the shortcut to happiness, health, and meaning. And then you look at Ogimi. These people aren't hacking anything. They're just living deeply, slowly, intentionally. They have their community, their garden, their morning routine, their friends waiting for them. And somehow, that's enough. More than enough, it's everything. Ikigai isn't really a secret. It's a reminder of something most of us have quietly forgotten. That a meaningful life is built in small, daily choices. Not one big decision. Thousands of tiny ones made over a lifetime. So the question isn't, what is the meaning of life? The question is, what is your reason to get up tomorrow morning? If you can answer that, even partially, you've already begun. If this video resonated with you, consider sharing it with someone who might need it. And if you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe and hit the bell. I'd love to have you here. Until next time, take care of yourself and find your ikigai.